There isn't a man alive that wouldn't give his most intimate of body parts to be able to afford a supercar. But let's face it, cars like the Alfa Romeo 8C remain the sole preserve of people with more footballing skills than brain cells. But what if I told you there was a car that had a lot in common with the 8C, but was a fraction of the price? That car is the Alfa Romeo Mito, Alfa's first affordable compact car in well over 20 years. They tell us it's born from the DNA of a super coupe, and in some respects they're right. The car takes plenty of cues from its big brother. The concentric rear LED lights, the alloy wheels and the sparkly red paintwork all make for a car that you'll desperately want to keep clean simply so you can show off to losers driving in Minis and Peugeot 207s. The quality air is continued on the inside. The interior is a well-sculpted array of circular vents, chrome highlights and red LEDs, all wrapped up in a muscular carbon fibre effect dashboard. The steering wheel, or mission control, is where you'll find all the switches, knobs and buttons for controlling the car's various devices and settings, the most important being the Microsoft Windows Start button. This controls the Blue and Me information and entertainment system developed by Microsoft and Fiat, Alfa Romeo's parent company. It lets me control the various settings in the car through buttons on the steering wheel or by speaking aloud. For example, once I've paired my mobile phone via Bluetooth, I can dial a number by speaking the person's name or by speaking the digits, and I can even have it read aloud my text messages without me having to take my eyes off the road. The accuracy of the text-to-speech program largely depends on the accuracy of the language being used by the person sending the text, as we discovered on the Blue and Me equipped Fiat 500. All right, let's crank it up a notch and see if we can combine everything in one mental text message that only 16-year-olds can understand.
LBTY, WNT2 go CTHT design the movie tomorrow. Happy. Please. You and your girlfriend can come. Winking. As far as I know, trailer had me Alfa Romeo. Laugh out loud. Till.
Blue and Me also provides a pretty impressive media player. If you look down here below the gear stick, you'll find a USB port to which you can connect a USB key filled with your favorite MP3 or unprotected WMA files. Once you've got that hooked up, the system displays the name of your favorite songs on the main display right here, and the actual user interface is shown on a smaller screen between the speedo and the rev counter. Here I can sort through my music by genre, artist or folder, and again the whole thing can be controlled via voice. There's an abundance of exterior tech on the Mito, which is a bit of a worry in an Alfa Romeo, because whenever these cars crop up in conversation, you hear horror stories about things breaking down or falling off. That's made even worse when you realise the first 18 pages of this manual is filled with things that could potentially go wrong. It's all warning lights for systems that might break down. One system that hasn't broken down, fortunately, is the hill holder system. Now, whenever the car's parked on a slope greater than 5%, with the clutch down and the brake down, the car will automatically apply the brakes to give me enough time to take my foot from the brake pedal and put on the accelerator pedal. For example, watch. It only does it for a second, but it gives you, like I said, enough time to pull away up the hill without rolling back into a line of traffic. It's basically the perfect car if you're not very good at hill starts. The Alfa Romeo logo incorporates the red cross of the great Visconti family, former rulers of Sardinia, and the Bisioni, a human child-eating serpent. It's no wonder then that Alfa Romeos are expected to be fast and aggressive performers. This could have been the one area where the Mito fell flat on its odd little face, but that's not the case. Look down here by the 6-speed gearbox and you'll find a DNA selector switch. Now this gives you 3 different driving modes. The first one is the all-weather mode for tiptoeing around in icy conditions. The second is the normal mode, which turns the Mito into a quite boring hatchback. The power delivery is predictable and the steering is so light I can move it with my little finger. The third mode is the most exciting though. It's called dynamic, and it turns the car into something a little more enjoyable. To demonstrate, I'm going to drive along in first gear, doing around 3,500 RPM. I'm then going to put it into dynamic mode, and we should see how the car responds. All right. That's 3,500 into dynamic mode, and instantly 4,000, 4,500. That's not me accelerating, that's the car deciding by itself that it's so eager to accelerate. In dynamic mode, those who dare take their eyes from the road will be treated to a boost indicator on the information display. The more revs you apply, the higher the level of boost. And the higher the level of boost, the greater your ability to overtake idiots who might get in your way. It might only have a 1.4 litre engine, but this car will do 0 to 60 in just 8 seconds. I'm starting to understand what Alfa means when it says the Mito has supercar DNA. It doesn't look anything like a supercar, that much is obvious, but it does command a certain level of respect that its rivals can only dream of. It's fast, it's packed to the gills with technology, and above all, it's got soul. Above all, it's an Alfa Romeo.